All right, everybody, let's talk about the biggest story that you weren't told this week. Not the loudest headline, not the trend, not the outrage cycle. I'm talking about the story that actually matters, the one that the media did not amplify, because doing so would force them to explain how deep the cracks in the system really are. And it's this: our institutions, the ones that we're supposed to trust, are quietly admitting that they've lost control. Government agencies are questioning each other. This week, secretaries of state demanded answers from the DOJ and DHS about whether federal agencies improperly shared voter data. Think about that. Yeah, just think about that. State election officials asking the federal government if they're violating election protocols. This is a constitutional red flag. This is a story that should have dominated the headlines, but instead it got buried under all this Epstein file stuff and all the other assholery that's going on. Congress moved faster than they have in years, and nobody asked why. The Epstein file bill shot through the House and Senate like lightning. No debate, no delay, no resistance. When Congress moves fast, it's not because they suddenly became transparent. It's because they're terrified of what happens if they don't. But instead of covering the why, the media spent their energy on the what. This was a seismic moment, and they played it like a weather update. A secret clause was exposed and quietly forgotten. The Arctic Frost Rider, that $500,000 escape hatch that senators gave themselves so that they could sue the government over their own phone data being collected. That itself should have been a week-long scandal. But the media dropped it like a hot potato because it exposes how Congress hides self protection laws inside bills that affect you and me. That's not politics. That is straight up corruption with a filing system. And it barely made a ripple. The FBI's story broke down and the media looked away. New reporting challenged key claims about the Trump shooters' digital footprint, conflicting narratives, timeline issues, evidence inconsistencies. If the FBI can't maintain credibility on the biggest political shooting in modern history, that should be a national conversation. Instead, one cycle, one mention, and then gone. So, what's the biggest story that you weren't told this week? Not one scandal, not one headline. The real story is this: America's most powerful institutions are cracking, and the people who report the news are trying very hard not to show you the damage. Because once the people see how fragile the system really is, the old narratives don't work anymore. The old excuses don't work anymore. The old just trust us narrative dies on the spot. The biggest story that you weren't told is simple: the people in charge are losing control, and they're hoping that you don't notice. Stay alert, stay grounded, and don't let the silence fool you. Hang in there, guys. There's more coming.